and hop into the exploding to Emerald Zoom. All of you on here should be pushing for Emerald, or you're on here to figure out how to train somebody to go Emerald. Whatever it is, we are so excited to share our best tips with you on how to help you just explode to Emerald. Okay, so I know right now there's a $15,000 diamond bonus, so your plan is probably to go Emerald this month and go diamond next month so you can earn that bonus, and we want to set you up for success 110% with 7 simple steps. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I am Sheyenne Knox. I am a 21-year-old presidential diamond. I live in Marble Falls, Texas. Well, I'm about to move to Marble Falls, Texas. I've been in the business for 3 years now. And I joined the business as a senior in high school. So I was sitting in my bed on it was at the half semester, it was on Christmas break, and I was scrolling through Instagram, saw my upline posting about this business about she makes 5 figures a month from her phone, and she was standing next to a brand new car that she paid for in cash. And I was like, okay, look, lady, if you can make 5 figures a month and I can make just a few $100s that I need to pay for school and not live off ramen noodles when I get to college, because that ain't the life for me. So I joined the business, and at the time there was a $500 Ruby bonus that I ran like the wind for. And within my first 30 days of being in the business, I made over $1,000 from a business I hoped I would make just a couple $100s a month with. 3 months later, I went Emerald and saw an over $1,000 paycheck again. And then that very next month, I went diamond 5 months into the business and earned a $5,000 bonus, which was so insane to me because at that point, I saw more money than I made in an entire summer working my job while I was going to school. What the heck? I was like, why did I not know about this sooner? And then right before I finished my freshman year of college, I went double diamond and made my first $5,000 paycheck. And with that, I was paying all of my own bills. I had paid cash for my tuition in school. I had paid $968 on the first day of school for all of my textbooks and all of that stuff, because they sure don't tell you how expensive that's going to be when you get there. 3 months later, our team went triple diamond and was now bringing in that 5-figure income that I saw my upline bringing in when I joined her, that I thought I would never be able to see. And then 3 months after that, our team went presidential diamond, which is an average of $20,000 a month. And because of this business, I paid cash for my new Tahoe. I just recently bought my first home at 21. I've been able to hit more money in a savings account than I thought I would make in like 20 years of my life. And it's so crazy just what this business has allowed me to do. It's changed me as a person. It's brought me the most incredible friendships that I didn't think even existed out there in the world. And it brought me just a confidence in myself that, you know, I can too do the things I set my heart and my mind to do. And that it doesn't matter where you come from or how old you are or what your life looks like or what you want it to look like. You can do whatever you want in this business. And so I'm super excited to do this training with y'all. I'm going to shoot this over to Morgan, who is going to share her story with you and kick off the training with us.
Yes, hi guys, I'm so excited. So if you are pumped about this training, go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat and tell me how excited that you are to go Emerald, because this is going to be a crazy month. And we just want to prep you and get you ready for what it's going to take to truly go Emerald, because we don't want you to just claim this rank. We want you to actually hit it. Okay. I'll start off by sharing my story. So I am Morgan, and I joined this business almost 5.5 years ago. And I was a broke college student. I was just living paycheck to paycheck. I had just moved across the country from Mississippi to Michigan, where I still live now. And I didn't know anybody here. I was working 2 jobs. I was in school full time, and I was just struggling. And I didn't really know what I should do about that. I didn't really have a lot of help from my family, but I knew there had to be more out there than the way I was living at that point. And so I found these products on Instagram while I was scrolling through, because I was a nanny and it was with the kids' nap time. So I was like scrolling through, and I was like seeing the pictures of the wraps, and I thought there's no way that those actually work. I thought that they were fake, but I decided to try them for myself, and I loved my results. And so I decided to go and stalk the girl's Facebook or Instagram who sold me the products, and she said that she was an Emerald with It Works. So whenever she said she was an Emerald, I was like, how much does an It Works Emerald make? And so I Googled it, and I found out that she was making as much money a month from her phone while she was in school as I was, just working full time as a nanny, watching 3 kids, 40 hours a week. And so I was like, if she can do this, I could make $100 a month. So I never joined to be able to replace an income. I never really joined to be able to do any of the crazy things and buy a house. That was never on my radar because I never thought it was possible for me. If you feel like that right now and think like, okay, like I might be able to make some extra income, like, okay, Emerald, yeah, but the house thing and paying off debt, like, nah, that's not for me. Put a 2. Not that you don't want it, but that you truly don't know if you would be able to do that with your business, because that was me. I did not have the belief whenever I started. So I jumped in. I just got excited. I didn't know what I was doing, not a clue. And I was just pumped up and I loved the products. I was sharing them with everybody. And I just started doing something. And I'm really glad that I did, because it set me up for success right out of the gate. Instead of just sitting back and overanalyzing everything, I just took action. And I said, I don't know everything. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to do it. And because I just have stuck with it, we have been able to, now we're presidential. We are top 38 income earners. We have been able to pay off $100,000 in debt. We paid for college in cash. We paid for our wedding in cash. We bought a Tahoe in cash. We built our dream home. And this business has just allowed us to give back more in a year than we used to make in a year. And we get to help our team do the same thing. And it's just so rewarding to see all the lives being changed because of this business that I never expected to do any of this with. And like Shay said, it's just brought me the best friends. I've been able to go on now 3 free trips because of It Works. And we're just living our best life that we never thought was possible. So we can jump right into the first one. Did you want to do the first one, or?
Yeah, we can switch it up. We can do the opposite of what we just did. Okay, so the first step in going Emerald, guys, is you have to know exactly why you're doing this business, okay? You can sit here and have all the goals and want all these things and do all this stuff, but if you don't know why you're here, you will fall flat on your face, because the first time something happens that discourages you or makes you question why you're here, you won't have something pushing you and standing behind you, holding you up, okay? When I first joined this business, guys, if you don't know my story, I lived in government housing. $20 was a whole lot of money. There were so many times I remember going through the lunch line and like going to like scan some stuff for lunch, and my account would be like $20 in the negative, and they would give you that sandwich and like the apple because your lunch account was in the negative so badly. So when I joined this business, I saw an opportunity to get away from that, to provide a life for myself that I knew was eventually going to provide for my future kids that I didn't have yet, that I knew I would have. And that is why I joined this business. And that is why I pushed so hard. And at the time I didn't know that, but looking back now, that is fully 110% what I saw in this business was an option, an opportunity to get away from what I knew I didn't want. And so with you sitting here on this Zoom right now, whether you're a mom or a college student or a wife, or you're a single person like me who's just living her best life in this business, like, you have to know exactly what you're working towards. And so maybe you want to stay home with your babies. Maybe you want to pay off a certain amount of debt. Maybe you want to buy a dream home, or maybe your current environment where you are is not healthy. I don't know what it is, because we all do this business for different reasons. And that's something that's so special, is you don't have to do this business for the same reason someone else does. You don't have to have the same why. You don't have to have the same drive that that other person has. Like, you just have to know exactly why you are here, because that is ultimately what matters. And we talked about this earlier. You know, if you have a certain amount of debt you want to pay off, how much debt is it? If you want to buy a certain house, have you printed out the picture of that house? If you want to make a certain amount of income, have you made a check? Like, y'all, my dream check right here, why I'm pushing this month to go ambassador, is because I put $63,497 on this check, because I had a dream that Mark wrote this check to me with that number. And I have it out here, and I have it on my dream board. And I have all of these things up here that I want to do. Like, I want to change someone's life. I want to build a house. I want to do all these things. And that's why I push with this. And I sit here in this desk. And when I do have times where I don't want to work this business, or I'm feeling discouraged, or I'm super overwhelmed, like today I was super overwhelmed. And so many times I looked up at that dream board and I was like, Sheyenne, you know what you're here for. You know why you want this business to work so badly, because it's all right here. And I also have all of my team's goals printed out on little sheets of paper around my desk, because it's not about me. It's about what they want. And if I can sit here at this desk and look at why they're doing it, why would I ever have a reason to slow down? So that is the step number 1, is you have to write down tonight and know why exactly you are here. It will change. You will go through things in life where your why will change. You may have more babies or you may accrue more debt. I don't know what it is, but it's going to change. Just constantly know exactly what you're working towards, because you will never ever give up knowing exactly why you're doing this business. So that's the first tip, and Morgan is going to share the second one with you.
I'm not unmuted. Okay, perfect. Okay, so if you are in this business and you are going for Emerald, do you have your Emerald chart out? Go ahead and drop a 3 if you have your Emerald chart out and you're like, yep, that's me. I got it. And it is filled out, not just if you have it printed. Okay, people, like, you have to actually have the names on there. Do you have your volumes on there? Do you actually have it out? Because if you don't, you need to get it out. And all you have to do is go into your eSuite and then go into document library. And if you just search the word Emerald, you're going to find an Emerald chart. And I would go ahead and grab a diamond chart too, just because the jump from Emerald to diamond isn't that big. If you're already a Ruby and you're shooting for Emerald, I would just shoot for diamond as well, because you might miss diamond and hit Emerald along the way. But if you don't ever shoot for diamond, you for sure won't hit it. So that's what I would recommend for you. So if you go into document library, you'll grab the Emerald chart, and it's only 2 rubies. Most of you are on here and you already know how to go ruby because you did that. I was talking to a girl today about charting, and she was like, okay, so is this how you do it? Is that how you do it? Whatever. And I was like, basically, you join the business, you turn around and you show people how to get their customers like you just did, and how to get their distributors like you just did. And then you go ruby by doing that. And then whenever you go ruby, you turn around and you help 2 people go ruby, and you go emerald. When you go emerald, you turn around and you help somebody do that, and you go diamond. And that's essentially all that it is just duplication, guys. This is a very simple business, so don't overcomplicate it. So hopefully you can see this screen. Oh gosh, just smacked myself in the face. It's fine. Okay, so this is what an emerald chart looks like. So it's literally just 2 rubies, and then you have a 400 box. This is a ruby chart. This is an emerald chart. Okay, so only 6 extra boxes. So you just have 3 boxes under 2 of those people. So you have 2 people going ruby, and they need to have 2,000 volume each, right? Because that's what a ruby is. And they each need to be at 400, all these boxes. And then you need this box up here to also be at 400. If you're going emerald, I'm assuming that you know how to chart. If you have specific questions about charting, go ahead and drop those in the chat. But I'm not going to go into this as in depth as we needed to on the Ruby Zoom, just because it's very, very new for rubies. But in emerald, you should kind of know how to chart. When you're going through TreeViewer, make sure that you are adding up volumes. Make sure that you're checking credit card declines every single day, because you may think that you're X amount away from your promotion, but really you had a return or you had a decline, and you've got to go get that fixed, and you have to go replace that volume. Because if you don't, then you're going to miss this promotion by just silly errors that you didn't pay attention to. So on these promotion months, make sure you have your charts, make sure you're working on getting those filled out. If I were you and you don't have the distributors that you need, what I would do for this goal is work on getting distributors the first half of the month, and then work on getting customers the second half of the month. That way you're boxed in and you're charted, and then you just need the volume that you need to promote to emerald, okay? What I would advise you against doing is only posting about the products and then only posting about the business. Because if while you're in the first 15 days of the month, while you're just trying to get these distributors and you're really just focusing on these DTs, if you're not trickling in at least a little bit of the products and talking a little bit about the weight loss, a little bit about the celery juice, just posting about you doing your coffee, people are not going to be interested in what you have. And then come the 16th of the month, when you start doing the customers and you're really focused on volume, you won't have as many people that are interested. You won't have as many seeds that you've planted for the products. And you're going to run into a problem that I had whenever I was going triple, that you don't really have that many potential LCs because a lot of them signed up a couple months before. And then you haven't worked on customers for a long time. Does that make sense? So even while you're getting customers, you still want to talk a little bit about the business and the promotion that you're going to hit, the bonus that you're going for, how you're helping your team. It needs to be a little bit of all of it, but you're going to be heavier on talking about the business at first, and then heavier on talking about the products at the end, but never only one of each, okay? Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So that's your goal. If you don't know what your goal is, you're not gonna hit it. We talked about this in the last Zoom, and it's so true. If you are driving to somewhere that you've never been before, Because if you're on this Going Emerald Zoom, you're probably not an Emerald, or you are helping somebody who's never gone Emerald. So either way, you've never been there before. If I was going to go and try to drive to New Mexico, I would know the general direction, but I would for sure get lost. And I would never end up in New Mexico. But if I did end up in New Mexico by some just crazy circumstance and I ended up there, it would have taken me twice or triple as long to get there because I didn't know where I was going. That is you without your chart. That is you without knowing what your goal is. That is you without knowing what your why is, like what Shay talked about. If you don't know your why and you don't have your chart, you are literally driving to a state you've never been to in an area that you have no idea where it is. And you hope to get there and you have 16 days to get there or however many days are left, not in this month, but just in general. Like whatever you're trying to hit your goal, you need to know exactly what direction you're taking, exactly how long you have to get there, and plan your goals based on that. So don't leave it up to chance. If you do, it's not going to happen, and it's for sure not going to happen when you want it to. So that is why you need to have your goal. You need to have your chart. You need to be very clear. And not only that, you need to be showing your team what your goal is. That's called casting vision. If your team has no idea that you're going Emerald, they're not going to be on board with you. But if you're telling them, guys, we're going Emerald, and you are a key part of that. Turn around. It's the same thing I was talking about before. You go Ruby, you turn around and teach somebody to go Ruby. You're going for Emerald, turn around and show them that vision. Hey, we're going to go Emerald. You ready? And then they're on board and they're excited to go. Whenever I decided that I was going to go presidential, I said, guys, we're going to go presidential this month. It's happening. Are you ready? They said yes. And we freaking got it done because I showed them the vision. If I had just hoped that we would just magically hit presidential, it would not have happened in that month. So you have to be very intentional and to teach your team, this is where we're going. This is where we're headed. This is why. This is what we're going to do to get there. Is everybody on board? And maybe not everybody is. Maybe you only have one person that's on board. Run with that person. And if you don't have anybody on board, go find new people, go find new blood, because there are people out there, whether they're on your team yet or not, that want this business and that need this opportunity. So you want to be the person that shares it with them and the person that gets them on board with this opportunity. So that is your goal.
And that is so good, guys. It's what Zig Ziglar says. The more you give to more people and help them get what they want, you will get what you want in the process. And that is so good. And I still hold true to that because you can't get anywhere else without helping other people promote. So number 3 is what you do every single day. Now, I think if you're going Emerald, you probably already know how to do your 6 list. So I'm going to give y'all some specific tips throughout that 6 list that I think will truly help you explode your business. So when it comes to messaging, you all know that you have to message new people every single day because you have to plant the seeds. You got to plant, you got to plant, you got to plant so that you can harvest when it's time for you to promote. Okay. So the biggest tips I have for you to message is, guys, if you want massive results, you have to put in massive action. So when it comes to me messaging, when I wake up in the morning, I'm already messaging for host to post. So I'm messaging on Facebook, getting up those host to post. There are so many scripts on YouTube and team pages, all the things. Find the script, ask an upline for a script, and start messaging for them, okay? I know personally a confused mind says no. I'm the worst at it. If I don't know how to do it exactly, I don't do it. So host to post are so important. So you need to be messaging for them on Facebook. And then on Instagram, I'm messaging constantly. I'm messaging those new people that I've been following. I'm messaging for host to post. I'm going to comment this in the comments. This is number 1 thing that I love to do. So if I message somebody for the products, okay, and they say no, or they say no about doing the business with me, I message them this, okay? Change the giveaway at the month. If you're not doing a giveaway with your team, just give away like a product or something. I don't know. Do that. Because I get so many host to posts on Instagram. There's also a training on my YouTube if you don't know how to do that. And that's how I do it. I follow up with them and just say, hey, if you're not interested, would you be willing to throw up a post? 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, sure, no big deal. And they throw up the post. I get so many distributors from that. So doing those extra little things when it comes to messaging and messaging as many people as you can throughout the day. Obviously space it out so that you don't get blocked, but I message 10 people an hour. If I'm sitting here and I have 5 seconds, I'm going to send out some messages. If I'm eating, I'm going to send out some messages. If you are a college student in between study breaks, go message people. Waiting for class to start, message people. If you're at work, you have a lunch break, do it during your break, do it before work, wake up 30 minutes earlier. I think by this point, if you know you're going Emerald, excuses got to go out the window. That's a whole nother speech we could go on. But message as many people as you can. Number 2 is posting. If you're not posting every single day, guys, Emerald will not happen. You have to be sharing this opportunity as many times as you can throughout the day. You have to be posting on your story. Why? Because consistency is key. If you are sharing this opportunity every single day, I can tell you what, me and Morgan do not go a single day without sharing this opportunity in one way or another. And I can promise you that. Go look on my Instagram and you won't find it. I talk about the business every single day on my social media. I talk about the products every single day on my social media. I talk about, and a lot of you look at this and you're like, well, y'all can post about the cars and the houses and the this and the that. We started this business without having the house and the cars and the this and the that, okay? We had to start from the bottom. So I talked about groceries and filling up my gas tank and what I was going to do with this business. So if you're going to earn that $15,000 bonus, get loud about it in your post. Cast that vision. Be loud about the fact that in the next 60 days, you and your team are earning a $15,000 bonus. Talk about where you're going and how you can inspire other people, okay? And this is another thing. I have so many people that come to me and they're like, well, I'm Ruby, I'm trying to go Emerald, but like nothing's happening. And I go to your social media and I have no idea what you even do. I've not seen you share your story. I've not seen you shout out your goals. I've not seen you talk about your team or about the friendships or about the freedom or about anything at all. So I don't even you have to ask yourself, would you join you? Would you even join you? And you have to think, why did I join my upline? Probably because they posted all the time about this business and you were like, dude, I want that life. You have to do the exact same thing. The next thing is interacting. So this is a huge, huge part of you continuing to grow in your success is all those people that are on your social media. You want to comment on their stuff, like their pictures, swipe up on their stories so that the more they see your name, the more they're like, okay, what is this girl doing? Why does she keep liking all my pictures? Why is she commenting on my stuff? And what are they going to do? Click on your profile. And then what's important for that? You've been posting every single day, okay? The next thing is following. I think this is a huge, huge thing that a lot of people don't realize the importance of, okay? If I had the same 2,000 people on my Instagram that I've had for the last 3 years, do you think I would have any more success if I never followed a single person? No, because some of them are going to buy from me. Some of them are going to block me. Some of them have somebody else they buy from. Somebody else, the other people are on my team and the other people aren't interested. You have to grow your network. And so my biggest tip to you to grow your network is to start being more real on your Instagram and your Facebook. Be you, authentically you. Do not try to be anybody else. Talk about the things that you love. Because if you go to my Instagram, what do you know about me? I love TJ Maxx. I live there. I eat Taco Bell for basically breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay. I am super real on my social media. You know all these things about me. You know that I travel all the time because I share that. So when I go follow people, I follow people based on the things that I love. So when they follow me back, they know me. They know exactly who I am, so they stay. Following up, this is huge. And I'm going to give y'all a tip that I shared with my team today. So I got this journal for $19 at Target. Each day has its own page. So I got this from Morgan. I was around her enough to be like, okay, I'm not doing it right. I need to step up my game. So these are my potentials that I got today. Okay, so these are people that messaged me, that said yes, for sure potentials, that really want to join. I write them down. So then tomorrow I'm going to fill in my potentials list and I'm going to go back 2 days and I'm going to go down my potentials list here and follow up with them. Every 2 days, I'm following up with the people that I talked 2 days ago and 2 days ago and 2 days ago. And I'm adding to my potentials list. And you know why this is important? Because when it comes down to the end of the month and I'm trying to push and promote to my promotion, look at all these potentials I have that I can go back to and follow and have them buy my products from me because I wrote their names down and I followed up with them. This is the Day Designer from Target. It's $19, okay? And the last thing is staying plugged in. So over the next 28 days of February, okay, you're going to go through a lot of different emotions. You're going to feel stressed. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You have to stay plugged in because you need to get filled back up in order to pour into your team. So staying on the trainings, getting on the Facebook Lives and your team pages, making sure that you're getting on all the Zooms that you can, that you're FaceTiming your team, you're staying super close with your upline because the closer to the fire that you can stay, the more fired up you're going to be about your promotion because you're getting filled up constantly. Okay, so that is just a quick breakdown of what you need to be doing. But as an Emerald leader, not only do you need to be doing your 6 list, but you have to be doing everything. Massive action, massive results. That means getting on FaceTime with your team, trying to do as many pop-up shops as you can, doing online Facebook parties with your team, pulling out all the strings because yes, the 6 list is great, but how many times a day can you complete that 6 list? How many messages can you get out beyond just the bare minimum? Because I know you're not a bare minimum leader. I know that you're not somebody who's just looking to barely get by. You want to get by with massive results so that it's already done. And that comes from you putting in as much work as you possibly can. So that's all I got for that. Next one.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about leadership. So leadership is super key whenever you're looking at going Emerald or any type of promotion really beyond Ruby, because you now have people that you are leading on your team. So anytime that you have a team, even just one person, you're considered a leader. A rank does not make you a leader. Your attitude does. So if you are anybody who is somebody on your team, you are a leader, and I want you to step into that. I want you to step into that role and to honor that role that you are in, because you're in that role for a reason. You got to this place in your business for a reason. And it is your responsibility to turn around and help the people that joined you, that trusted you. And you have to take that responsibility and go and lead those people. There's a couple of different things that I want to teach you about leadership. But before I do that, I'm going to give you some of my favorite leadership books / podcasts. One of them is the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast. That one's so good. If you scroll all the way back down to his very first podcast, the first through the 8th podcast were life-changing. The first 2 talked about the 8 types of leadership, and you get to see which one you are. The best type of a leader is an empowering leader. And that is somebody who leads other people to help them become leaders. So you don't want to have a bunch of active, excited followers. You want to create other leaders. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that, which we'll get into in a minute. But the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast is amazing. He talks about taking massive action versus passive action. He talks about how your default is not to work. Your default is to rest, and that you have to make yourself do the effort and, take the action. So Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast, absolutely amazing. Another really good book is called The Leader Shift by John Maxwell. That one's really, really good. It's a really good book just talking about, leadership, but like really going in depth. So if you're not super into self-development yet, maybe listen to a couple of other books before that one, just because that one is a little bit deeper. So, but yeah, that's a really good one too. So lots of different things about leadership. One thing, let me just tell you what I did wrong in leadership, and then I'll tell you some things that I've learned along the way, because I feel like I am a better leader than I used to be, because you're always getting better. So if you feel like you have sucked as a leader so far, I'm just here to tell you it gets better, and you can become better, but you have to just make that decision to know that my past does not define me. And just because I was a sucky leader before doesn't mean that I have to suck now. And so in the past, I hit diamond, and I really didn't keep dreaming. I didn't keep my vision for myself, and I didn't keep dreaming of where I wanted to go and to help my team to get there. And so I know Shay has a similar story too. And so like we just kind of were chilling, like I had quit my jobs. That's what I really wanted to do. And I just stopped worrying about my goals. If that is you, you are the lid on your team. You're the cap to your team. Your team cannot exceed the vision that you set out for them. And you see people all the time pass their enrollers and stuff, and that's a very rare thing, like where you're just sitting there like with your own vision. Usually the leader is the leader because they lead people in vision and they lead the pack. So if you don't have that vision that you're sharing with your team, if you're not talking about where you're going, if you're not talking about your new goals, why do you expect your team to work towards those goals? They don't even know what they have, and they don't see the ability that they have to make that type of change in their life, because they don't see the change that it's making in your life. So you have to lead by example, by showing them, hey, this is what the business can do, and we're dreaming really big. We're going to go further than this, and we're going to hit double. But I stopped there. I stopped at diamond. I got comfortable, and a lot of my team quit because we just stopped pushing for the next big thing. And so if you are that person right now, I challenge you to really get serious about your why. We talked about that a little bit already, but really get serious about where you're going and what you're doing this for. When you get clear on that, share that with your team and tell them what you're doing this for, because when you do that, you are going to really be able to help them hit the next level and lead them to that by knowing where you're going. People want to follow somebody that knows where they're going. As the leader, you have to see farther, reach higher, and care deeper. If you're not doing those things, I challenge you to start right now. And the way that you do that is just genuinely about loving these people, wanting the best for them, wanting their goals for them, like what Shay was talking about. You see farther, which means that you're really digging into this self-development thing. You're really digging into what your own why is and seeing the vision and what you really want to do and where you want to go. And then reaching farther or reaching higher. Yeah, so those are the things I was trying to remember the other three, but basically what you do as a leader sets the pace for your entire team. So know that it is a big responsibility, but that you do have the ability to do it, or else you wouldn't be in this position. So I challenge you to take that role on very seriously, and to know that if you aren't where you want to be right now as a leader, that you can take the steps to become the leader that you desire to be, and that it's not too late to start doing that. So did you have anything else to say, Shay?
No, I think too, the biggest thing that people struggle with is they sit there and say, you know, I want to be a leader for my people. Like, we all have the desire to, we want to lead our people. We want to have a successful team, but sometimes we just lack understanding the fact that it doesn't matter what you say. Okay, you can sit here and say, like, do this and do that and do this and do that, but the moment that you start doing it yourself and leading from the front by your action speaks louder than your words ever will. And I totally wish I would have learned that from the get-go, because I remember after I went diamond, I got complacent. And I was like, okay, team, let's go. You're doing great. Keep enrolling. Let's go. And you know what I did? I sat down. And I stopped doing what I was supposed to do as a leader, and I was expecting my team to do things that I was not doing. I was not walking in their steps. I was expecting them to do the steps for me while I sat down and collected the paycheck. And let me tell you how that worked out. I maintained executive for 11 months after that, so not too good. But I just challenge you to understand that, yes, you can tell your team all day what you're going to do, and you can tell your team all day how to work this business, but until you do it and you step forward and be that person. I mean, I always imagine a track. If you're running around a track in a race and you're in the front, what is everyone else behind you going to do? They're going to try to beat you. They're going to try to go in front of you. But if you're in first place, running, doing all the things and saying that you're going to do all these things and then doing all the things, they're going to follow in your footsteps and be right there chasing along around that track to win the race. Okay. And that is my biggest tip for that. So start doing the action and don't just expect your words to work, because it don't work. And I'm speaking from experience, okay? So the next thing that I want to touch on is number 5. And at this point, you should know this, of working closely with your upline, okay? Working closely with your upline is going to change everything for you, because by this point of you being an Emerald leader, not only are you pushing for Emerald, but you're a big core part of your upline's promotions too at this point. And they're working super closely with you and cheering you on and leading you to those next ranks. And so as you step into that leadership and start working closely with your upline, Emerald is an Emerald leader. Like, you're a leader on this team. And so you stepping into that role, I think something that used to make me feel super special was when my leader was like, you're going Emerald, like, you're a leader on our team. Like, next month you're going Diamond and you're getting added to our Diamond and above leadership page and you'll be in top 1%. And I was like, whoa, what? Like, this is real. That is the step that you're stepping into, and don't let that overwhelm you. Let that excite you to know that you're a big core part of the team that you're on, you know, because you have a chart, we have a chart, like, you're on someone else's chart. And when you sit there and step into that leadership position, you're expected of more things, which sometimes can be overwhelming. But if you look at it in a graceful way of just saying, like, this is where I'm meant to be, I'm stepping in this leadership position, my leaders expect things of me. And I loved that. I love that feeling. I'm like, what do you need me to do? I am doing it, because there is something special about doing things with people. Okay. When you're stepping into that leadership position, you feel like you're doing it by yourself, you're probably not going to do it. But knowing that you're a part of a bigger picture is so special. And so I encourage you to work super closely with your upline over the next couple of months, because, guys, there is no better time to promote and run with your people than when there is so much massive momentum like we have right now. With these bonuses, with these products, with everything that's going on, with all these trainings we've got going on, like, you need to step up and be a part of that, because you are somebody that at this point pushing for Emerald, people look up to you. Your team looks up to you. And so you working with your upline and doing that training one-on-one and learning most from them, a lot of you do want to, you know, going back into leadership, a lot of you want to step into that leadership position. How are you going to do that? Watching what your upline does to you as she leads you. Watching what that upline does as they lead your team, because more than likely you have more than one upline. You may not realize it, but you have a lot. And they all stepped into those leadership positions and worked with each other to conquer more. You can do a lot of things by yourself, but you can do 10 times more things with other people doing it with you. So don't forget to include your upline in things and text them and ask them for questions. And especially as you step into leadership, for a long time, I struggled with leadership confidence. And I still do to this day. And that's one of the biggest things that I have to grow in, is to trust the fact that I know how to lead and that I do have my own way of leading. But something I still do is I text my uplines, I text my sidelines, and I say, hey, would you do this? Would you do this for your team? Like, is this a good leadership step? Okay, this is happening on my team. How can I handle it? And I always got second opinions. And that's how I learned how to be a better leader. And because I was working super closely with my upline. So, at this point that you should be sending screenshots to them and texting them and doing all the things, but I think you need to look at the bigger picture of knowing what impact it can make when your upline's running and you're running and your team is running, how much you can accomplish as a team together.
Yeah, it's true, because I mean, they have so much like insight into things that you haven't experienced yet. And it's like you have like all this gold at your fingertips, but you just have to activate it, because we're always willing to come and talk to you and answer any questions that you have. And I know my upline does that for me. So like, you're never going to stop asking them questions, but you definitely have to start, because it's going to only hold you back if you don't. So the next thing that I want to talk about is discouragement. And so basically, I did this analogy in the last Zoom too, so I'll say it again. If you were on here twice, sorry, you're going to hear it again. But basically, discouragement in this business is going to happen, okay? You're going to have times where you feel knocked down. You're going to have times where you feel defeated. You're going to have times where you feel like you're questioning whether or not you should keep going. And maybe some of you have already had that feeling. Maybe you're like, oh, I've never felt that before. Well, you will. And I'm only telling that to you because I don't want to speak that over you and say like, oh, all this bad stuff is going to happen and life's going to be crap, so good luck. That's not the goal here. The goal is to explain to you what will happen so that you're not blindsided when it does. Because it's like the speed bump analogy I used earlier. If you're driving at 60 miles per hour in a car, and you don't see the speed bump ahead and you hit it going 60 miles per hour, it's going to jolt you pretty bad. You're going to be pretty shaken up. You're going to be like scared, like, what did I just hit? I have no idea what that was. And then you're probably going to pull over to the side of the road and like make sure that your car is okay. You're probably going to have like a headache from like whiplash. Like, it's just like not going to be good. You don't want to hit a speed bump going 60 miles per hour that you can't see and prepare for. But if you were to see that and you're going 60 miles per hour, you see a speed bump ahead, you can adjust so that you hit that speed bump at a rate that won't hurt you. And then you can hit that speed bump and you can just continue to go. And it's the same with this business. When we encounter things that are hard and when we encounter things that are a struggle or that may make us feel defeated, and we encounter those and we know that they're going to happen, it's not a shock when they do. If I'm sitting here telling you that you're going to face struggles and then you face a struggle, you're not going to be like, whoa, I'm the only one. Nobody else has ever struggled with this. You're going to remember hopefully this Zoom and look back and say, wow, everybody else struggles with this too. We've talked about this. This is normal. I can do this. And you push past it like the speed bump that you knew was there and you just glide right over it. And so you have to expect the speed bumps so that they don't jolt you as badly as they could if you didn't know they were coming. So things like discouragement, things like being defeated, people quitting, people on your team quitting at the last second whenever you were already almost boxed for your promotion, people that you thought were going to be your next runners, they end up quitting, customers turning off their auto shipments. Guys, these things happen, but don't let it hold you back from your promotion. Decide right now that when those things happen, inevitably they're going to, whether it's for this promotion or another one, they're going to happen and it's going to be okay. And that Shay and I did not get where we are right now because we had everything smooth and, everything was just such a breeze for us. It's not true. We've gone through the hard things, but we just kept going. And that's the difference between the people who make it in this business and the people that you see on stage, walking across as a millionaire, walking across as top 150 income earners, standing up on stage as an ambassador, getting trophies. You see all of these things and people that you want to be, people that you admire. What they have is grit. And what they have is determination that no matter what comes across me and my path or in my business or with my team, I am going to be okay. And I'm going to keep pushing. And when you decide that now, when those things happen, you're not going to be so, flustered about it. So just know ahead of time and prepare yourself for that and decide right now what your plan of action is going to be. We call it the emergency evacuation plan on my team. Got that from Ashley Mayfield. So you have this emergency evacuation plan. When you are discouraged, what are you going to do? What gets you excited? Are you going to go for a walk because you live in a sunshine state? Bless your heart. Like, that's so great, because that's not what I do. I do not go for a walk. It is freezing cold here. But if you want to go for a walk, or maybe you want to listen to music and have a dance party, that's more my speed. Maybe you go take a shower. You just like literally wash it all off and you just start back over fresh. Maybe you go work out. Maybe you eat a cupcake. Maybe, I don't know what you do, but whatever you need to do to get back at it, do that. Give yourself 5 seconds to wallow and then move forward, because you don't have time for a pity party. You have too many things at stake with your business and with your future to sit there and just wallow in the things that are happening to you, and realize that life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. And everything that comes in your path that is distracting you, that is depressing you, that is frustrating you, you get to choose how you react to it. You get to choose how you respond to each of those things, and it's either going to pull you back or it's going to push you forward, but it's your choice. So decide right now which one you're going to pick, and when those things happen, choose the right decision. Choose to let it pull you in a direction that's going to help you propel forward, so that you can look back on that time and say, this is what I went through and it was good. And this is what I learned. You know, the Bible says that God works everything out for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purpose. He's working all those things out for good. You know, it's not like, and then he says in Genesis 50:20, what the enemy intended for evil, God meant for good. The things that are coming in your path right now that you're like, this is bad, like this sucks, whatever it is, and maybe it's really, really big struggles that you're facing right now, but know that God's going to use it for good. And you don't know how, but you don't have to know how. It's not about the how, it's just knowing that he will. And so that is about discouragement. Hopefully that was helpful for you. And I know some people go through some really hard times. Maybe some of you are like in a really, really bad situation right now. I don't know. I just like feel like that's like so heavy right now. There's somebody on the Zoom that's going through something really, really big. And it's not just like little business discouragements. It's like real life stuff. And I don't know what it is, but know that God has a plan for you, has a purpose for you, and his plans are to prosper you and not to harm you. They're to give you a hope and a future. Whether it's with this business or not, he has a plan for you, and he brought this business into your life for a reason, and you need to keep fighting for your goals. I don't know why I felt the need to say that. I don't know who you are, but I hope that that encouraged you.
And I did not know I was going to church today. So good. You know, and I want to add on to that, the fact that I remember when I lost rank from Diamond for the first time. I built to Diamond pretty quickly, so it was the first time that I truly had a moment in my business where I was like, whoa. Like, this is not good. Like, I'm not seeing the money, and people are quitting, and I'm not getting to my promotions as fast as I wanted to. And I remember sitting there for 10 months trying to go double diamond. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why am I in this valley? And that was when, you know, I saw this quote that I'm pretty sure Cammie said at an event or something, and someone shared it, and it was a text message. And she said, bridges are man-made. From mountain to mountain, God made valleys, not bridges. So stop trying to skip the valleys, guys. I learned more in the valleys of my business than I learned at the mountaintops. The reason that I'm able to lead my team in such a way is because I can say, hey, I've walked that, and I can show you how to overcome that. Hey, I've been through this, and I can show you what I did to get out of it. So 110%, everything that you're going to witness over the time that you're in this business, because I'm just telling you that things are going to happen, not only in your life and in your business, but guys, sit down in that moment and say, what am I needing to learn from this? How am I supposed to grow? Because those were the moments that I learned most and grew the most as a leader, was in the valleys of my business. So I just wanted to share that. But guys, ultimately the 7th step, I hope you wrote all these down. I'm going to go over them in a second, but make a decision right here, right now, on this Zoom, that it doesn't matter how afraid you are of that promotion, how nervous you are about how this volume is going to come in, how you're sitting here going through the motions of trying to figure out how it's going to happen. Don't try to figure out how, because you will get stuck at making this list of all these things that you don't know how to do. Because even as an emerald, y'all, I still don't know everything, and I'm a presidential. There's still things that I'm like, how did I get to this point without knowing that? Like, I truly don't know how I did that. But it's because I never stopped to sit there and say, how can I do this? And how can I do that? And how can I do this? I just was ignorance on fire, and still to this day am. I don't know everything, and I never will. And so I encourage you today to make a decision that you want more for your family, that you want more for your life, that you know exactly why you're doing this. And at the end of the day, guys, you're an emerald leader. That's what you're pushing for. And you know what's on this chart? A bunch of other people who want the same things that you want. They're fighting for their goals just like you. And so if you make a decision right now that you're not only going to push and fight for your promotions, but you're doing this for your people as well, you will see that everything that you do will feel better, but it will also happen because you're serving others. And so if you make that decision today, that it doesn't matter if your life gets crazy, it doesn't matter if you feel overwhelmed, if you feel too busy, if things start happening left and right, if somebody quits, like I can tell you right now that when I went double diamond, I had 3 people that enrolled anything on my entire team. Double diamond. So there is no reason why you cannot go emerald. Build 2 rubies, because if you're going emerald, you've already gone ruby before, you build 2 of them. And then you do it again, and you do it again. You know what ambassador is made up of? Like 56 rubies or something like that. I don't know what it is, but it's just a bunch of rubies. So you just build rubies and build rubies and build rubies and make a decision to do the dang thing. So if you can figure out why you're doing this, why you're here, what you're pushing for, you can get out your goal, have this chart out, and know exactly what this roadmap is, because that's where you're going. Number 3, do your 6 list and do it massively every single day, as many times as you can before your head hits the pillow. Number 4, learn how to be a better leader. And by you going through those valleys, you're learning how to be a better leader. If maybe you're not emerald and you've been here for a while, or maybe you're brand new and you don't even know what I'm talking about, you're going to go emerald and you're going to go through things, but how are you going to grow through them as a leader? Number 5, are you going to work with your upline and realize that there's a bigger picture, and that it's not just you fighting for your goals, that it's everyone on this team, because that's the best part about what we do is you're never pushing for something alone. There is always somebody within your team, your uplines, your sidelines, your downlines, that pushing and fighting for the same thing that you are. Number 6, are you going to push past the discouragement because you know it's going to happen, and how are you going to overcome it? And number 7, are you going to make that decision to make this happen? Now, there's obviously technicalities to going emerald. It's the moving customers. It's the this. It's the figuring out how to enroll. It's the upselling. It's all the things that you're going to learn through plugging in. But at the end of the day, as long as you've done these 7 simple steps every single day, there is no reason why at the end of this month on February 28th that your e-suite will not reflect what your promotion is. And Morgan, I want you to end this just how you started the Ruby one earlier about closing your eyes and imagining.
I was literally just about to do that.
Perfect. Take it away.
All right, so this is going to seem like mumbo jumbo to some of you. If you're not on my team, you may not have ever done this, but my team and I do this all the time. So we're like, yeah, we got this. Okay, so whenever I to close your eyes, and if you're not closing your eyes, I can see you, so close your eyes. And don't post stuff in the chat, because I know you're not closing your eyes if you're texting in the chat. They were doing that last time. I was like, close your eyes. They're like, we are. And they're like messaging in the chat. I'm like, that does not count. Okay, close your eyes. And I want you to picture yourself going emerald. Okay, I'm going to walk you through this. This is called visualization. It's a really big part of self-development. Okay, so I want you to picture that you just promoted to emerald. Where are you at? Are you at home? Are you in the car? Are you at school? Are you at work? Are you with your friends? Who are you with, and where are you? What are you wearing when you promote? You just hit emerald. What does that look like for you? What day is it today? Is it February 28th? Is it February 29th? Who is the very first person that you just called to let them know, oh my gosh, I just hit emerald? Are you jumping up and down? Are you crying? Are you screaming? Are you running around the house? Are you already charting for diamond? What are you doing now that you just hit emerald? Did you call your upline and tell them that you just did it? Did you scream? Did you FaceTime them? Did you Zoom with them? And now I want you to fast forward to March 8th. And we just got preliminary commissions. And you see it in the chats, or you see it on Facebook or on your team page, and it says prelims just posted. Your heart starts racing. You're so excited. Now you're going to log into your e-suite. And you're logging into your e-suite, and you go and you click the top, and it says commissions. And you're waiting for it to load. How do you feel waiting for it to load? Are you excited? Are you nervous? Do you have butterflies? Okay, it just loaded. Now I want you to scroll down a little bit to where it says the number, and it's written in bold like it always is. What is that number? And I don't want you to think about the average number. I don't want you to think about what the income chart says. You are above average. What is your paycheck? How do you feel now? You just saw your paycheck. Are you crying? Are you in shock? Did your jaw just drop? Did you just immediately call somebody and tell them? Are you jumping up and down? Are you dancing around? What are you doing? How do you feel? What is that money going to go towards? That exact amount, does it pay off debt? Does it help you to come home with your family? Do you get to stay at home with your kids now? Did you just replace your full-time income? What is that amount of money going to do for you? And I want you to open your eyes, and I want you to feel every single emotion that you just allowed yourself to feel in that visualization. And I want you to take that moving forward. Because the reality is that we can tell you how to message all day long. We can tell you how to post, and you can go and do all the things we teach you how to do. But if you don't believe it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. Because you truly have to believe in your heart of hearts that what you're working for is possible. Because if you don't believe that it's possible, why would you actually put your whole heart into it? You may feel like you are. You may be doing all the things, but you may not be doing it with your entire heart if you don't feel like it's possible. So take that feeling with you. The days that you want to quit, when that discouragement comes, remember that moment. No, but that's the feeling I'm fighting for. Because people don't fight for things, they fight for feelings. They fight for what they feel. And that's what we want to help people understand is it's how you feel. You're fighting for that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of, I freaking did it. I said I would and I did it. When's the last time that you felt like that? When's the last time that you shot for a goal that you set for yourself and you hit it? And you said, I freaking did it. With that proud, excited, just like grin on your face, like I went through hell and back and I freaking did it. That's what I want you to fight for every single day for the next 24 days. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up. Do not do it. Do not give up. Because the difference between the people who are where you want to be and where you are right now is that they never quit. They didn't give up when they wanted to. They didn't work based on how they felt. They worked based on what they wanted. And they kept that at the very forefront of their vision, and they stayed focused. So I challenge you to do that visualization exercise as part of your self-development every single day for the rest of the month. And even into March and April, because why not? The things that I had visualized happening happened. I'm going to tell you a really quick story just because we have a couple of extra minutes. I told myself in 2017, I said, I'm going to be a top income earner. I'm going to be a top income earner. I was a diamond. Okay, so let's just be real. I was a diamond. I was like, I'm going to be a top income earner. Did I know how it was going to happen? Absolutely not. But I was determined that it was going to happen. So I literally would close my eyes and I would visualize myself walking on stage, as they said, number 148, Morgan McIntyre, because that was my name back then. Morgan McIntyre, number 148. And I walked up on stage and I knew what I was wearing. I was so excited. I was 148. I don't know where that came from, but I was 148. And I walked across the stage and I was so excited. And I did that all the time. And I even I don't cry. If you know me at all, I do not cry. I cried when I was doing this a couple of times. And I just got so emotional just because I felt like I did it. Like that sense of pride, like really, how will you feel? And I'm doing that now with Millionaires Club. I'm like envisioning walking across the stage as they hand me that trophy, Millionaires Club, Millionaires Club. But I did that for top income earners. We got our emails 7 months later, number 148. And I said, yeah, dang right. Because for 7 months, every day I was 148. So I'm not surprised that I'm number 148. Isn't that crazy? Visualize stuff and it makes freaking crap happen. Do it. Because why would you not? What do you have to lose to visualize something that you really, really want? If you miss it, you're still right back where you started. But if you visualize it and you hit it or you even come close, you've moved up. You've leveled up. So start visualizing what you want and get specific about it. Because if I had just said top income earner, I'd have been like, cool, I did it. But I said 148. And 148 is the number that I practiced Mark saying in my head, and I walked up on stage. And that's what I hit. So visualize your goals, get serious about them, and do not stop. We want this for you so badly that we got on a Zoom to teach you how to do this because we believe in you. We are rooting for you. If you feel like nobody else is cheering you on, if you feel like your spouse is not supportive, your family makes fun of you, people don't think that what you can do, like people don't think you can do this, your friends make fun of you, your friends don't get it, we believe in you. Those nights where you're like, nobody freaking believes in me, nobody believes I can do this, we do. We got your back and we are in your corner and we want to see you make this happen for yourself. Go prove them all wrong. Go after everything that they said that you couldn't have and go emerald this month. That's all.
Woo! Let's go, y'all. I'm so excited, and I'm going to upload this up to my YouTube right after we stop this. So I cannot wait to watch all of you go emerald this month. Good night, y'all.